Welcome inside to League Unlock, all you friendly and welcoming faces. Eric and Mark here with you guys as LCK Week 1 continues. We're getting close to Week 1 of the LEC, and for some reason the LCS, you still got to wait a week.
Hey, it's the for fun region, North America. We got to take our break seriously, everything.
Yeah.
Take some time, let everyone else start it out for us. Let's see what happens.
And then the hype will be so huge for NA, although they have released absolutely zero content. Whereas the LEC, been pumping them out for weeks now. So far, franchising looks better in EU.
It certainly does look
Before
better.
games have been played.
But hey, you got to remember, North America, we can't start. We can't start until we see the other regions play, and then we can steal their strategies and draft compositions, and then try to make them our own. That's exactly how it's going to work.
Yeah, we're not very original, and that's why usually Worlds doesn't go too well. But maybe 2019 will be different. But first, we got some LCK action. SKT debuted on Wednesday, got a 2-0 win over Jin Air. Mark completely overreacted, so they're the best team of all time after they beat who we think will be the 10th place team in the LCK. But the defending champs from 2018 summer, KT Rolster, took on Hanwha Life, who I think there's actually some serious potential with this new roster. And in the bottom lane, it was not Gango starting for KT Rolster, and it was not Mugen starting in the jungle for Hanwha Life here in Game 1. The first game with BDD on KT Rolster and the first game in their title defense. It's Zenit in the bottom lane for KT. Probably not a household name right now.
No, that is the immediate jump out change there from the time that we saw KT Rolster at the Kespa Cup with Gango in the bottom side. So definitely a change there. But hey, starting out, the defending champions find a way to get first blood here.
Score interacting with Smeb. Two guys, returning members from last year, and Smeb on the top lane Galio in this one. But Zenit does a great job surviving here. Obviously, Snowflower on the Tahm Kench. And this comp for KT, 4 tanks
what is
and a Sivir. Absolutely disgusting. Galio, Urgot, Gragas, Tahm Kench. I don't want to play against that.
Yeah, and the scary thing here is also, like, you know, Smeb's not even playing Galio as if it's a tank. He's playing it straight up as if he can bully, be a bruiser carry right now, not the tank duty.
I mean, just half health, 2 guys.
Insanity here. As the rest of the team just takes the Baron, KT Rolster were on their A game here to start out.
Yeah, and I wasn't expecting to really see BDD playing the likes of an Urgot, but these team fights, Hanwha just did not have enough damage to take down pretty much anyone. Only the Sivir is who they could focus, but with the Tahm Kench, it was impossible. KT win Game 1, and Zenit actually looks pretty solid. He did play 1 game at the Kespa Cup. Gango started the rest of them. On to Game 2, no subs for Hanwha Life, still no Mugen coming in. Another Sivir pick for Zenit, but we got BDD on the Zoe. Finally, some damage in other lanes, and look at this first blood. Almost 19 minutes, the LCK is really back.
Yeah, not exactly enjoying that late of a first blood there, but the great pickoff snipe there by the Zoe Trouble Bubble.
Fun champion.
But that seemed to be all the early goings there for KT Rolster's Hanwha Life. Find their exact fight here right away.
Yeah, they were getting a pretty sizable gold lead without really getting any kills. You see they already had 4 dragons to their name, 4-1 in kills, and this team fight, this time it's them with the Urgot, who, look, it's just Worlds all over again. Urgot is a huge pick, and it's tall. He had some nice plays in this game. He was looking like prime SKT tall, where he, you know, was actually good with SKT, as opposed to the inconsistency.
I was saying, I don't know, man. I don't know if we even saw Tall reach these heights when he was on SKT. Some of these teleports were just picture perfect ones right at the right time, and he was absolutely an impact player in this Game 2. Great reset from Hanwha Life to even up the series.
Maybe Game 1 was SKT Tal. Game 2 was, you know, the new era for him. But we're going on to the third one. Still no subs coming in here. Sangyun gets the Ashe. No Sivir this time. It's Xayah in the bottom lane and a Rumble top for Smeb. But all the action early was in the mid lane. 2v2, BDD and Score. They interrupt the Lissandra Claw. That was clean. Flash, not enough. They win the 2v2.
Hey, that's what you want to be seeing from KT Rolster, as we talked about. The strength of this team is absolutely going to be from top lane, jungle, and mid. That is your pillar of strength here, and it shows up early in this Game 3.
Early and often, right back with no flash to punish. The Lissandra self-ulti, not enough. BDD grabs another kill, and then you had this fight in the bottom lane. The drifting Scion comes right in. Tal's ready to party, and Hanwha Life, Bono on the Lee Sin had some fantastic kicks in this game. Smeb comes in with the flank and the equalizer, but it doesn't really do very much. Sangyun completely untouched, and the chase down doesn't stop for Hanwha.
Yeah, that is not the fight.
4 kills.
That is not the fight that you want to be using the hero's entrance into as the Galio there. And then, of course, Smeb even shows up to try to help the peel away and can't get himself away from danger. Gives over the ace to Hanwha Life.
At 12 minutes, by the way.
And they're starting to get out of control.
Yeah, 12-minute ace is absolutely insane. Here, KT decides we want to contest the blue. Sangyun gets completely obliterated by the Galio and equalizer combo from Smeb. They grab an Infernal. KT back in the game, but Hanwha had an Infernal for themselves and another Dragon fight. Keep your eyes on Sangyun here. This time, he's untouched, and he's going to go full aggressive with the Ashe. He flashes in and takes down Zenit almost immediately, cleans up the fight 5-0 for Hanwha Life, and that's game. That's it. You're late enough in the game.
That was crazy there because early on you had the Lissandra split pushing on that top side. There was no answer from KT Rolster until they were at that Dragon Pit. And then Smeb misses the ultimate from the Rumble, who you know the Rumble and Smeb had been a huge part of the damage composition for KT Rolster in that match. As soon as you saw the Rumble ultimate miss, your eyes jump out of your head there and you're thinking, oh no, this is bad for KT Rolster. And that was the exact sign for Hanwha Life to hit the go button and deal out that damage to end the game.
Fantastic play from Hanwha, specifically in that third game. And yeah, you know when you're picking the Rumble, pretty much any fight that KT was winning was because BDD and Smeb were completely blowing up, usually Sangyun or some key member of Hanwha before the fight even started, but didn't get that in the last couple of fights, and really well-played team fights from Hanwha Life outside of that game 1 where they weren't playing against 4 tanks, because that's just a horrible time for anyone.
And you got to give your respect here to the man tall in the top lane. Finally getting some star performance here from him now with Hanwha Life after his time with SKT. Seems to have learned quite a few things here, putting him into action in this first match against KT Rolster. Yes, game 1, not exactly the clean performance that you would have wanted to see from him. But game 2 and 3, absolutely a rock up there in the top side, held his own in his matchup, and of course, made very impactful plays around the map, using that teleport to its max potential.
Yeah, he looked great on the tanks. The Scion, he had some great drifting to get into some of these team fights, and we thought him and Muujin would be the best synergy on this team, but it was actually Bono who played all 3 games and looked pretty solid for Hanwha Life. So the title defense gets off on the wrong foot for KT Rolster. Who knows who's going to be starting more so in the bottom lane, Zenit or Gango, but Zenit's a lot younger. He's 3 years younger. Maybe they feel like they can kind of groom him into the player they want.
Yeah, I think this is certainly still a great evidence here that, yes, there's a lot of talent on this KT Rolster lineup. We know we've seen the plays from the guys like Score and Smeb combining together in the top side, of course, and we know what BDD brings, but it seems that we maybe need to be a little bit more patient waiting on the results from this bot side.
KT 0-1, Hanwha Life starts the spring split 1-0. Coming up after the break, Griffin looks to keep the Kespa Cup train rolling and go to a perfect, keep their 8-0 streak running against Kingzone. This is League on Lock. Eric and Mark with you guys, recapping a little bit of LCK Week 1 action, and the SKT roster has been hyped to new heights and new bounds that we've never seen before. But the most excited and best team right now in Korea and maybe the world is Griffin, especially after the Kespa Cup. 8-0 during that run as they won the title. They are carrying that into LCK Spring, making their debut against a very new-look Kingzone. Only returning members are Rascal and Cuz, who, by the way, were subs for the majority of 2018.
And that is a massive difference in the starting lineup for the Kingzone Dragon X roster there. And when you're thinking, hey, reasons to be excited for LCK in 2019, of course, number 1 for a lot of people was the superstar roster assembled by SKT.
Should be Griffin.
But it should really be, again, number 2. The second reason here has to be Griffin. This young rookie star lineup from last year comes into this year now, a year older, more preparation has been done here, and they were already one of the most exciting teams in the world to watch, let alone one of the most talented here. So it's going to be an absolute treat to get to watch them this year.
They're looking for vengeance, and it starts against Kingzone. And it starts with Viper playing Vladimir. It's Season 9, same as Season 8. We're playing mages in the bottom lane, a Kali mid against that Urgot. What a fun matchup that one is. But level 2 power spike goes to Kingzone, and Tucson on the Gragas Good night, Viper. Burns the flash, too.
That's real early. Goodbye, Vladimir.
Respect the
there.
level 2.
Absolutely gets nailed by the Gragas there and then adds those passive stacks for Korizon and just deletes them there. Kind of like Tarzan does to almost everybody.
You know what that is, Mark? That is Halo Blades Xin Zhao, which is the new meta. We had Tarzan as our #1 jungler in the LCK, and that's the reason why. Complete whiff on that ulti by Cuz. But this is a bot lane party. 4 Kingzone members coming in, but the dive is not going so well. Sword is there on the Scion to just guard everyone. Tarzan says, whatever, guys, I'm just going to get Herald. And then Kingzone says, 4's not enough. Bring in a 5th. We're fully committing to this dive. They do finally clean up 2, but here comes Chovy.
Oh boy, here comes the pain coming in from Chovy. This is the
1v4.
Akali of your nightmares here, everybody.
1v4 with the zombie Scion, gets 1 kill, grabs a second. He flashes in, or jumps over again into 3, and then he just got the Shroud. He does have to flash out, but he grabs 2 kills there. Actually a pretty good trade for Griffin. The gold advantage was going their way. And even though Viper starts 0-2, you can't shut him down on his Vladimir. As soon as he gets to those team fights, he cleans up Deft. Going to grab another kill here on Sejuani. And the gold lead is going heavily in Griffin's side now.
And that's the, again, crazy thing. We talk about it all the time with Viper, especially when he plays these awesome dude carries in the bottom side, not bringing that attack damage. He says it doesn't matter, and that's exactly it. He plays the Vladimir just how you need to be playing Vladimir in those team fights, getting people at the last second. That's exactly what you want. This is the Griffin that we've been waiting to watch.
Ends up 19-4 in kills, and it was close. It was 5-4, I think, at one point.
For like a couple minutes.
14 straight kills, basically, for Griffin to close out Game 1 in pretty convincing fashion. We go into Game 2. It's actually an AD carry for Viper in the Ezreal, and that is a support Elise, and he's lost in the jungle with no flash. Whoops.
Uh-oh. Mr. Lehens, what's going on here? But you gotta remember, Lehens is an all-star Elise player.
It's his main.
Elise is his main in the support position in solo queue and getting up to those high ranks there. So remember, this is not a troll job.
And after the game, Griffin members did say they intended to pick that. It wasn't a misclick or anything. Tarzan on the Xin Zhao again with the nice ulti to get the J-Sway. And then the stopwatch. This guy's so good. He's so good. He is the guy to watch on Griffin, and seeing him on some hyper-aggressive junglers like Xin Zhao is only even more exciting here. Deft is on the Kaisa again, and no one can seem to hit him, even though he gets stunned up by the cocoon. No one's hitting him. It looks like Griffin's going to clean this fight up, but again, everybody forgot about Deft. He cleans this one up, or it looks like he should.
He should be cleaning this one up.
Gets a couple
trying
kills.
to get forward here, trying to get the damage
Viper.
out. Come on. Oh, no.
The double
so close.
whiff. Those were not well-placed skill shots on the Shock Blast and the Kaisa W.
bad.
Ends up Tarzan grabbing a couple of kills. It looked like Def was ready to clean that up. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is Akali. 2-man dive under the turret. Before this, by the way, he already used the Shroud. He uses it a second time. Def dashes in. Oh, it's so sad.
Make it stop, please.
They can't kill him. Deft is just eating turret shots. Oh, Sword grabs a kill.
Please.
2 kills in the way of Griffin. That is so sad. Chovy lives easily. Tarzan and Chovy there completely blow up Deft. He has absolutely no chance to even press a button. He goes down, and as the Griffin train rolls on, their team fights always last at least 30 seconds. And they always get 4 kills.
It's insane. They're all just rolling through these team fights, absolutely. And every time you think that it's got to be over now, they're going to back off or anything like that, they find a way to pick up that extra kill and turn. And the best thing is, again, then they turn loose on the map and use the advantage to their power here. What they gain in those team fight victories absolutely leads into the series victory here for Griffin, picking up exactly where they left off in 2018 as victors.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you would have expected in their matchup against Kingzone, who people aren't too high on here heading into the spring split. Griffin completely dismantles them, and they've now won 10 games in a row going back to the Kespa Cup. And Tarzan who got MVP in both matches, played Xin Zhao twice. I'll read you a scoreline for you. 13, 0, and 12. Is that good? Is that a good 25 or infinite KDA in your first game?
There's nothing that needs to be said about that performance in that type of way to validate the level that Tarzan was at in this one. Tarzan is the #1 jungler to start out this split right now in the LCK with this performance in week 1 right away. Jumps out to be the king in that position. You gotta run through the jungle and you gotta run through Tarzan if you want to be the best.
And again, it's only one set, so we're not going to overreact too much for either of these squads, but Griffin did put up a dominant Kespa Cup run and still think that they are the team to beat in the LCK, and they're definitely the most exciting. It seems like the meta hasn't changed at all for them in the preseason.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the meta seems to be. It is always going to be Griffin adapting and constantly coming up with new play styles and new ways to innovate with these flex pick champions. That is absolutely a pillar of strength for this lineup.
Yeah, they have a flex pick top, mid, or bot lane because Viper can play pretty much everything. Griffin will be must-see games going forward in the spring split.